Hi. Today I'd like to go ahead and introduce two different body systems that we're going to be looking at, the nervous system and the endocrine system, and how they both affect cellular communication. One of the challenges of being a multicellular organism is our bodies are composed of trillions of cells, and these cells often have to work together to achieve specific results. For example, I have a heart. My heart is composed of many cells that need to beat in a steady rhythm in order to circulate blood around my body. If they don't coordinate the rhythmic beat, then I'm not going to be able to transport oxygen and other materials around the body, and I will die. So it's really important for them to be able to communicate and coordinate that behavior. And similarly, right now I'm picking up and moving a pen around. To do that, I have to contract a variety of different muscles to get the desired effect. And that requires coordination between different parts of my body and different muscles in my nervous system. So we're going to be taking a look at these two systems. The nervous system, which uses chemicals that are released from nerve cells, and the endocrine system, which releases chemicals from endocrine cells. So let's take a comparison of these two systems. Let's start with the nervous system. You can think of the nervous system as a series of wires, called neurons, that connect the body together. Neurons are adapted to generate brief signals that travel at extremely high speeds along an axon, and the axon is in synapse or contact with specific cells. The nervous system is set up to target only the cells that the axons are actually connected with. It is extremely fast and is what we call an addressed system. It doesn't affect other cells except the ones it's directly attached to. Kind of like you address a letter, it is sent to a very particular person. The endocrine system works slightly differently. The endocrine system releases chemical signals called hormones into the body, generally from glands. These hormones then spread throughout the body and potentially reach every cell in your body. They are slower than the nervous system, taking seconds or minutes to reach different parts of the body, and they are what we call a broadcast system. They're not sent to one particular tissue or cell, they're sent to the entire body. This is similar to someone, rather than sending a letter, walking out in the town hall square and start just announcing their message to anyone who happens to hear it. For the next few days, we're going to focus on the endocrine system. So I'm going to leave the nervous system aside and we'll come back to it toward the end of the week. So the endocrine system is very good for controlling widespread prolonged activities. For example, development. In this image above, you can see the development of a chick embryo. This is a chicken. And you can see over time how it develops and what it looks like at different stages in the shell. During this time, many different things have to go on for development to occur normally, and those are generally controlled by hormones being released at specific times throughout the body. Similarly, the endocrine system will control things like metabolic change. When a person goes through puberty, there are many changes that happen within their body, and that's largely controlled by the endocrine system. So if a signal is broadcast throughout the body, why does it not affect every single cell? Okay, well, this is all about cell signaling, which we've talked about before, but we need to review a little bit. Cell signaling depends on cell receptors, proteins that are generally in the cell membrane. And there are a wide variety of different cell receptors out there with a wide variety of different shapes. So different cells can receive messages from multiple hormones. And each receptor only responds to the specific type of ligand. Remember, that's the signal that comes in this case a hormone. And that is controlled by the receptor shape. You can see in our image here, we have a variety of different shaped receptors. They're going to respond to different ligands. Cells are able to actually alter the number and type of receptor proteins that are in the membrane. They can add new ones, they can take some away, they can increase the numbers or decrease the numbers. So they've got some control in how they're going to respond. The key thing to remember is while the signal is being sent out to all cells in the body, only the cells that have the correct type of receptor to receive that particular ligand, hormone that's been sent out, will respond to the hormone signal. All other cells will ignore it because they're not going to have the correct receptors in place. In this image, we have, as a reminder, the 4 stages of cell signaling. The first thing is you need a signal, a ligand. In our case, it's the hormone. So this is step 1. Then the message, the signal, bonds to a cell receptor, generally in the cell membrane, though in some of the videos you'll learn occasionally these receptors are inside the cell. So they bond to the receptor, which in turn causes a conformational change, generally a change in the shape, step 3 over here on the inside of the cell membrane. This in turn causes a signaling cascade, a series of events that is going to lead to a response by the cell. And the response can be different depending on the cell you're in. For example, in our bodies, we have a hormone, epinephrine. You probably know it as adrenaline. That when epinephrine is released into your body, let's say you're almost in a car accident, okay, you just barely swerved missing the car. Epinephrine is released in your body, and a variety of things are going to happen. A sampling are your heartbeat is going to pick up rapidly and beat very, very strong. That's to get more oxygen to your cells so you can break down energy, you have energy available, cellular respiration. It also is going to release a lot of glucose from your liver into the blood, so providing an energy source for the energy you're going to want to need for the emergency. And then finally, it's also going to decrease blood flow and secretions in the digestive enzymes in the gut. I'm trying to survive right now. I really don't need to be digesting lunch, so I'm not going to waste energy in that area. So epinephrine gets a variety of responses and actually does additional things, but we'll focus on just these 3. Because even though the hormone is the same and the signal receptors are the same, they cause a variety of different signaling cascade events. So by having different signaling cascade events, the cells can respond in radically different ways to the same hormone. Okay, so the action of a hormone depends very much on the target cell. Okay, the endocrine system is great for regulating processes that involve many different tissues over long periods of time. Okay, sometimes that long period of time might be a few hours, a few days, a few months, or even years. But hormones can be sent out and cells can respond in a variety of ways. Hormones are also conserved during evolution frequently. And to give you an example, well, when I say conserved, what I mean is the same hormone has been around for an extremely long period of evolutionary time. So maybe millions of years, the hormone has not changed very much. However, the hormone might be conserved, but the function can change drastically in organisms as they evolve. For example, let's look at the hormone prolactin. In mammals, when prolactin is released, this stimulates the milk synthesis in the mammary glands. So they start secreting milk. When I did my graduate research with seals, we wanted to collect milk samples. So we would give them an injection of prolactin, wait 20 minutes, and then we would milk the seal. And we'd be able to collect milk samples from each seal. Fish also have prolactin. The hormone's the exact same, no changes there, but the effect of prolactin is quite different. In salmon, the prolactin stabilizes blood ion compositions as the fish migrate between salt and fresh waters for mating. Salmon are born in freshwater streams. They then swim to the ocean, live there for a number of years, and then return to the freshwater streams to mate. So prolactin, as a hormone, enables them to do that because it causes a different series of cascading events, signal transduction, that cause ions to be balanced in the blood. And then finally in birds, the same hormone again, prolactin, stimulates nesting behavior and parental care. So same hormone can have very different effects by changing the effect that occurs inside the cell. And we see that frequently for many hormones evolutionarily. I also want to point out that frequently the nervous system and the endocrine systems work together. They are not separate systems that never interact. And most tissues in your body are impacted by both the endocrine and the nervous systems. For example, muscles. The nervous system controls the movement of muscles. So when I want to move my arms around for some reason, the nervous system is what's controlling that. The endocrine system, however, is responsible for the release of testosterone, which throughout your life stimulates muscle growth and development. So the original formation of that muscle and growth of it is tied into the endocrine system. The use of that muscle, movement, is tied in with the nervous system. So these two systems work together to give you the muscles you have and let you use them effectively. During this week, you're going to be watching a number of different videos that talk about the endocrine system and how it works. As you watch these different videos, I want you to keep two big picture things in mind. First off, don't try to memorize all the organs, glands, and hormones you're going to hear about. I want you to be familiar with them, so if you see them mentioned again, you'll be fine, but you're not going to be asked, what does the thyroid gland do? That's not going to be a type of question you're going to see. Instead, you might see a scenario talking about, here's a specific hormone that was released from the thyroid and caused this effect. And then they might build on that. So understand the thyroid, is part of the endocrine system, it releases hormones, but you don't need to know which specific ones are released. And you don't need to memorize lots of different hormones. There are certain ones you'll hear about regularly, but for the most part, you'll be given the information you need during a question. Secondly, the endocrine system is really all about cell signaling. It's the application of material that we learned earlier. So this is really review for the most part. We've added in some glands that are releasing the hormones, but when we talk about the endocrine system and any questions related to the endocrine system are really focused on how that hormone then goes in and causes a cell signaling effect and a signal cascade that ends up in a specific result. So keep those in mind as you start going through the material this week. Okay? Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you next time.